Welcome back to another part of this F1 25 My Team Career Mode. This is part number 45 today for the Las Vegas Grand Prix in Season 3. Last time out, well, an engine failure that could prove very crucial for the title fight for Alexander Albon occurred, whilst we managed to salvage a pretty alright position, a P5 in a difficult race where Carlos Sainz on the last lap took victory for Mercedes. But I think a P5, all things considered, very high tire at some stage of that Brazilian sprint and the full Grand Prix. I think we did well just to keep things ticking over, and in the context of Albon having an engine failure in the sprint and then only recovering to, I think, only 2 points was it in the full race, it means that there is now, I'm pretty sure, a mathematical chance that at this Las Vegas Grand Prix, Tim Tramnitz, our original F3 icon driver, can become the Drivers' World Champion. I think the Constructors technically still could go another race till Qatar. I don't think there's a scenario where we could wrap that up in Las Vegas. I don't know. Maybe if Ferrari want to have a double DNF, maybe then, and if we got a 1-2. But the thing is, we're not going to get a 1-2. You just know we're not, considering the performance of the car in recent races. But I think it's more likely that we can score. But I think it's more likely that Tim Tramnitz will be able to score enough points to maybe round out the championship, which is going to be very, very exciting. And it's more exciting because coming into Las Vegas, we have a shiny, emphasis on shiny, new one-off livery for this race. It's the Chrome Aarava Archer Racing livery for the nightlight in Las Vegas. We've also got some new secondary sponsors on the car. AVAX taking front and center on the side of the chassis. So this is, our version of the Chrome McLaren, essentially, with the base livery still being there, but it's now all in chrome rather than white. And I put emphasis on AVAX on the side of the chassis, kind of as like a little, maybe they're like a American sponsor that really wants big, real estate going into the Las Vegas Grand Prix. So that's why I've made that little switch up on the side of the chassis, and then elsewhere just choosing different variants of some of the newer sponsors that we've added onto the car. But I think the chrome really suits this design very nicely. I wasn't too sure, chrome with fluoro yellow, for the broad GP colors, you just never know. But I think it works really, really well. It's slick. It's not really in your face and too out there as a chrome livery. It's just nice and slick, which is what you want. You don't want it in your face. Vegas is already shouty enough as a venue. You don't want the livery being like that. But I think it's understated in a really nice way. And I think the pattern we've got on the engine cover with the back-to-back Aarava logos works even better in a way on the chrome, with that kind of reflection kind of smoothing out even more. If you did follow along from last episode, you'll know that Williams and Aston Martin Honda now have made plenty of upgrades, and so this is the confirmation of the R&D chart from the last race. Williams with a massive leap. It's kind of scary how some of these leaps are being made, for Audi, for Aston, for Williams. So I don't know, maybe they're just saving up R&D and they just splurge it now, or it could more be their phase 4 upgrades unlocking. Of course, we've already had phase 4 upgrades for a while now, with that weird kind of broken glitch from the start of the game. And I spoke about, actually, ironically, probably that was maybe a good thing in terms of us actually being able to fight for the championship a bit earlier, because it could have taken easily till season 4 maybe if it wasn't for those earlier phase 4 upgrades. But now we're at this phase where things from this performance chart look incredibly competitive, which is why I'm so confident that I think it would literally take the biggest miracle in the world if we were to wrap up the constructors in this episode with like a 1-2 and Ferrari not scoring hardly any points. But it is very likely that Tim Tramnitz could get over the line and get his first ever world championship, which let's take a step back. That's crazy. As our F3 driver icon, he started off, what, 68 rated? I think currently now he's up to 76, which is still pretty low considering how well this guy has performed as an AI. Forget about when I'm driving as him. You guys have noticed, as an AI, he's been unbelievable. Like, he's got some great second places, all on his own accord as an AI. So, half the work has been him as an AI driver, not even me getting him there. So he very much deserves to maybe wrap it up a little bit earlier in the season. And what might help him a little bit here is, to my surprise, we've actually got some upgrades technically on the car with the supplier upgrade. I think this is the first time I've seen the supplier upgrade for the engine side of things come into play. So nice for Mercedes to finally wake up a little bit and realize that, oh, we're also on their customers. That deserves an upgrade package from the PU side of things. But we are then going to go into the Vegas Grand Prix then with maybe an added performance update on the engine side of things. We are going to drive as Ollie Bearman, and you might be thinking, oh, why are we doing that? There's a chance for Tramnitz to win the championship. We should be driving as him. Well, to the point I just made, he has done, as an AI driver, Tim Tramnitz, half the work. I think it would be actually really cool and fitting if he was to round out his championship as an AI driver, because he's had these brilliant results without my help, getting podiums, getting points, consistent points, to be in a position to still be carrying the championship. I think it's fitting to watch him get his championship here in Las Vegas, if that is a possibility. So we're going to be driving as Ollie Bearman, and also at the same time, this just keeps and follows the pattern we've been doing of every other race, swapping to make it all fair. So let's go to the grid, driving as Ollie Bearman.
The walls are close, the speeds are high, and the location is borderline unbelievable. It is time for qualifying in Las Vegas.
We're actually going to have to wait just a little longer to see the chrome AAR car out there under the floodlights here in Vegas. As we load into this session, there is a slight issue.
Guys have found a leak in one of the coolant lines, so we're patching that up as we speak. Hold tight for now until we've got everything checked over.
Let's hope that's not a bad omen for the race to come and for the plans of maybe securing one of the championships today, or just for how our race is going to go, because now every time I step into the shoes of Ollie Bearman, I do feel a little bit of worry because of how badly that British Grand Prix went. I'm still thinking about it. It's still scarred me. It's given me trauma for how bad a race can go maybe on F1 25 in the My Team series when things just do not go our way completely. But thankfully, things are going to be smooth after that initial issue in Q1, and look how lovely the chrome is as we go past all these bright lights flashing and the reflections just change constantly. It's a good place to come to with a chrome variant of our livery. P8 and 9 in Q1. Hopefully, we can be there or thereabouts, or just a bit quicker by the time we get to Q3, of course. But Red Bull, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, all up there. Williams, I imagine, could be quite strong. They've obviously been very good at tracks in a straight line, and they've had those upgrades now. Brazil maybe wasn't the best place to show off their pace. They really struggle with tyre wear on the two-stop. I imagine Williams could be more of a threat here around Las Vegas, as I think it should probably be a one-stop by the time we get to the Sunday Grand Prix. But that's then, this is now, and we've got a bit of work to do, as all of a sudden, on the way of our second flying lap, we're down to 8th place. Tramnitz P10. So both of our first flying laps weren't good enough to secure us a top 10. And now all of a sudden, Tramnitz is actually outside of the top 10 on the top left. We could be pushed down further than P8 as well, as people are finding more time. We're finding a lot of time, to be fair, as, Vegas, it's not a racetrack usually. It's just the streets here in Vegas, Nevada. So as the laps go on, the track gets quicker and quicker as the rubber gets laid down. You're seeing that here. A little bit of a twitch through the final corners loses us some of the time we found, but we do find just over 0.4 of a second to get ourselves up into 4th place into Q3. But Tramnitz hasn't. Oh no! Tim Tramnitz Oh, it's the commentator's curse. We just spoke so highly of how many times he's delivered as an AI. This could have been his crowning race weekend, and he's going to start the race weekend outside of the top 10. I mean, it's not horrendous. It's P11. You know, in reality, he may have only just qualified P9 or, 8 or whatever in Q3. So will it make much of a difference? I'm hoping not, but it's still maybe not what you want to see, but we're going to have to just carry on and see what we can do in our cockpit driving as Ollie Behrman. But I'm sure at this point of the video, the comments are coming out and saying, oh, look at this. You should have driven as him, and this is why. But hey, you can say a lot of stuff in hindsight. Let's just carry on with the job at hand and believe in Tim Tramnitz and what he can do, his ability in the race. For us, it's only going to be P7. I say only, and that's actually pretty good considering the performance of the car in recent times. And really, that kind of shows, would Tramnitz have got any further? He may have just been P8 and 9, so it really doesn't make that much of a difference. Looks like Mercedes, with Lando at least finding some pace. Sainz down the order in P8. Last race's race winner. Lando on pole. 2 Red Bulls looking strong. But what did I say about Williams? In the hand of Tsunoda at least. Tsunoda P4. So Tsunoda could be a real threat. But, the ones we're focusing on is really Albon, I guess, for Tramnitz's sake. P5 in the Ferrari. Liam Lawson's done amazing in the Aston Martin Honda. So I reckon with the pressure of, Williams and Aston adding on, I think Tramnitz does a good chance to just do enough where Albon, even if he outscores Tramnitz, is not going to outscore him enough to maybe deny him the championship. At least that's how I'm thinking it's going to go. Let's go to the grid and find out. It's Vegas.
After all the parties, after all the talk, after all the speculation, drivers and fans alike can't wait for this one. Welcome to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. With the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he will start from pole position. And Oscar Piastri completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Albon, Liam Lawson and Behrman, Sainz, Ocon, Stroll and Tim Tramnitz, Aaron Colapinto, Charles Leclerc and Tsunoda, Maloney, Doohan, Pepe Marti and Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Bortoletto, Gasly, Hulkenberg and Isaac Hadjar rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
All right, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
Copy, radio check.
We've got a great chance of getting another points finish in this race. Keep it clean and hopefully we can work our way up the field.
As of late, Mark's pre-race team radios have been quite inspiring, so let's hope that we can be inspired by that and make our way up the order. If you noticed on the grid sequence, Tsunoda actually with a penalty, so Tramnitz is now P10 inside of the top 10, so it's all worked out really. I feel like I said, that's kind of where he was going to maybe be based off the pace we showed in quali. It means Albon is up to P4, but there's a long way to go in a full Las Vegas Grand Prix. A lot of overtaking opportunities with the slipstream, and we're in Vegas, and pun intended, it is a real big gamble in this race. as is our surroundings, as we line up on the grid perfectly and get ready to go to what is always a chaotic and entertaining Grand Prix here in Nevada, as we go to 5 red lights to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Lights out, and we're on the way. It's a good getaway for us. It's a slow one for the pole sitter, Lando Norris, who tries to cover off Piastri. We make a ballsy dive round the outside to make it 4 wide, I think, for the lead. Verstappen going through. Oh, he squeezes us. There's contact. The Red Bull's round. Oh, we made contact with Max Verstappen. And Verstappen is out. He's broken his tyre. The suspension arm sheared off. It's a red flag, and thank God for that, because we've got a red front wing. My word, everything blew up so damn quickly. One moment we are fighting for the lead. Verstappen doesn't give us any room to work with, and then he just loses the back end on his own accord and slams into us. That could have been pretty nasty for us. We could have easily have been out of this Grand Prix. We're very lucky not to be out of this race. I think we're lucky, to be honest, if I put my hands up, to not have a penalty there, because that was equally our fault as well, of trying to go for a gap that was always closing. But I mean, we had such a great turn 1. We were 4 wide for the lead. I'm not gonna not go for the lead of the race if I can, especially on lap 1, where opportunity is rife on an F1 25 race. We know later on the AI start to have that advantage, so we went for it, didn't really work out, and now we have a red flag restart, and we're down to 7th place. Oh, as we go to lights out for the second time here in Vegas, and it's a very slow getaway for Ocon, who just barely gives us enough room to work with, as Albon is way down the order in 10th place, Tramnitz as well. So the 2 championship protagonists down the order, maybe nearly out the points, as Lawson gets squeezed out for P3. Carlos Sainz has had a mega recovery from the bottom of the top 10 to now being 2 Mercedes fighting for the lead, maybe, because it's Piastri versus Norris. Piastri on the outside, Norris on the inside, as well to the sphere section for the first time then on lap 3, with the emoji sphere looking over us, and it's seeing Lando Norris lead the way. Piastri second, Sainz, we're in P4. We've overtaken Lawson just before that section. Tsunoda P6, Ocon and Albon, yeah, he's down. So I think P10, Tramnitz, at the moment as it stands, he's outside of the top 10. So it's a little bit chaotic for the 2 guys in a, well, not really close, but in a mathematical championship fight, as we are now facing the might of this long Vegas main strip back straight, as it's 4 cars involved, and we're going to thread the needle through and make the overtake on Sainz whilst we got attacked by Lawson. So we turned that into a positive, as you know, we just kept our foot in, kept it pinned in, and made the move whilst being attacked by Lawson and Tsunoda alike, as Piastri now with the dive on the inside to try and get the lead, and those 2 are fighting each other so much that we're closing in. You may notice Piastri, he's on the hards. Most of us have chosen to stay on the medium we started the race on, but Piastri swapped under red flags onto the hards, and that's going to open up the door. It seems like a pretty easy 2 overtakes there. That's just because we have so much overspeed on Norris, and then Piastri was so pedestrian into that corner, but I think it's because he knows there's another chance to repass. You can afford to be very cautious around Vegas when it comes to an overtake, because you know that if you just get behind someone on this straight, you'll make a move. And so all of a sudden, we've gone from P1 to P4. It's not nearly P5 as Tsunoda comes through. It's laughable how much of a gamble it is in this race. Like, you won't decide the race winner most of the time, or the podium at least, until the last lap, because it can go all the way to this corner on the last lap. So we've overtaken Lawson. We're back to P4, but Tsunoda's leading. What? I swear Tsunoda was P5 at the start of that straight, and he's now leading the race. Crazy. Vegas always delivers on the F1 get. That's bonkers. He's gone from P5 to P1 as Piastri squeezes out Norris. It's almost like they're two AI drivers. They actually know that they're former rivals, former teammates, because they're fighting each other so hard. Both of them now in different cars from their McLaren days. It's Silver Arrow versus Red Bull Ford instead. And now Tsunoda going from P1 all of a sudden down to P4. Piastri's the one that leads, and we're trying to finish off this move on Lando Norris. But you got to say, on lap 6, maybe Piastri now, his decision to go on to hards is proving the right one, because he's now subtly pulled away and he's got the better tyre at this point as Tsunoda locks up, because the tyre wear is actually coming in thick and fast for the medium. And so Tsunoda's lock-up there gives me breathing room. I've broken DRS with Behrman here, but Piastri equally is so far ahead. But this gives us breathing room and gives us also room to just take a beat and focus on Tramnit. So he's just overtaken. Tried to overtake for P8 it was, but Colapinto has gone for the double pass. That's how crazy it is. By the way, Tramnitz went for a move on Leclerc there and instead ended up behind still P8 because Colapinto made a double pass because he got 2 times the slipstream, or 2 lines of slipstream on the main straight. So Tramnitz in the thick of it, in the middle of the traffic. I think you've got to say that it's been a pretty okay first stint for Tramnitz, because look at this. He's going for a move on Norris, a man who was fighting us and Piastri for the lead. That's how badly Mercedes are falling off on the tyre wear. It must be horrendous for them around Vegas. Ironically, it's so good for them in real life. But Sainz is down to P14, Norris P8. Absolute shambles then. So Tramnitz now is ahead of the Mercedes, ahead of Leclerc, P7. So yeah, Norris falling off a cliff. To be fair, now on lap 10, my tyres are feeling very second-hand. Piastri 7 seconds up the road, just showing how much more pace he's got on the hard compound of tyres. So I mocked him a little bit for choosing the hards initially, but it's worked out better for him as we kind of let Ocon by. There's no point fighting him that much because I'm going to come in on this lap. My team have recommended me to come in now, and I'm going to agree to that. This is actually a couple of laps earlier than was originally planned because the tyre wear is just so high. And I think it must be surely that high for others. I mean, it clearly is for the Mercedes guys. So I think we should be doing well here to get a pretty powerful undercut going. And that could just get us that breathing room we're looking for in second place. Oh, no. A bit of a mistake there on the pit stop at a 5-second stop. So that might just nullify the undercut we get on Ocon, and so he might still have some fighting to do with the Ferrari once he comes in. That's a little bit frustrating. It's the first big pit stop mistake. Oh no! Oh, what? Safety car to red flag. That's gonna change things up. That's gonna be an even worse downer on our undercut chances as both Mercedes are around. Did they crash? What's happened? That's the worst time pit stop for me, as Lando Norris is round, and that's caused a car park, and that's going to hold up his teammate Carlos Sainz, a bunch of cars. No wonder there's a red flag. There's a massive car park going on at the end of the strip, and this is why then Norris fighting the Williams car and the Aston, and he just loses the back end, probably because of that horrendous tyre wear. And then Carlos Sainz breaks his front wing on one of the other cars, I think this is. So he's done double jeopardy to his entire team, Norris has. But that's probably the worst timed pit stop in the known universe, because have you realised what's just happened? I was the only person who made a pit stop at that point. So red flag is going to restart lap 14. I think we're going to be in last place here, and everyone gets a free pit stop. Brilliant. Absolutely. Oh my days. We're 21st. We're 21st. Lights out, and we're underway for the 3rd time here in Vegas. 2 red flags in 14 laps. We dive it from so far back to get up to P16, because at this point, I am pissed. I am so angry in the cockpit at this point. I am driving with my teeth gritted. I've got my 2 hands firmly on the steering wheel, and we are absolutely launching it at every car, every corner, because I am not accepting being last place after that first round of pit stops, quotation marks, as we make a double overtake on Stroll and Sainz. That is what happens when I drive angry. I just commit, and I couldn't care if we crashed as well, by the way. I am just committing because we got done so dirty with that pit stop. We're up to P11 then. In fairness, all the cars we've overtaken, barring maybe the McLaren and Mercedes that we did just before, they're all slower cars, so we had to get past them. We probably should have been getting past them pretty quickly, but now these are cars that will put up more of a fight. But you've got to remember, we've had now a good rhythm from the first stint. I feel very locked in and dialed into the Vegas circuit now with this car. So we're in a groove, so we're making moves still on Norris. Now going to look to Leclerc. Meanwhile, Tim Tramnitz, by the way, because of that red flag, at least that did him some service. He's up in P5. Albon is P3, so this is definitely much better for Tramnitz, I think. And I reckon Tramnitz will have the pace to overtake Albon at some point in this second phase of the Grand Prix. So I think this German is well on his way to a Drivers' World Championship. It's Liam Lawson in the Aston Martin Honda overtaking for the lead of the race with 10 laps to go. Unbelievable stuff here. So the red flag has turned the race on its head a little bit and has allowed Lawson to be in the fight, Tramnitz to be in the fight, and we are making big gains as we try and use all of the early stint pace up as much as we can, knowing that eventually maybe the tyre wear will come in. And oh wow, look at that, it was 3 wide. Leclerc got overtaken there, and he's actually dived it back around the outside of myself and Aaron, and he's only just gone for the repass then. Leclerc, very lovely move into turn 1 there, I must say, to come back at us, but we are going to try and finish the move off, cut across the apex as we enter the sphere section and get up into P8. Now 3 seconds of clean air ahead of us to push ahead, but Leclerc keeps the pressure on, so we might need to defend. As ahead, there's an engine failure. Who is it? It's Albon! It's Albon! I can't believe it! 2 race weekends in a row, the Ferrari engine goes up in smokes, and that is the final nail in the coffin, surely. This has got to mean we can open up the balloons, pop the party poppers early. Tim Tramnitz is surely well on his way now to becoming the new Drivers' World Champion in Formula 1. He overtakes Ocon as well. He gets into a podium position whilst he does it. Oh, it's meant to be. It is meant to be. Is this actually happening? Our F3 driver icon has only got 9 laps to go, and he can just take it easy. He can take in the sights, the sounds, and really revel in this race and experience right now, because he's on his way to a first ever Drivers' World Championship as a 76 rated AI driver, by the way, as well. Crazy, and that's unbelievably bad from Ferrari and the engine there. That, oh wow, that's devastating. That, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of, was it F1 2017? I want to say, back in the day, like season 4 or 5, where I was in a title fight with Vettel in the Ferrari, and he had an engine failure in the last race, and so it gave us easy victory. That's reminded me of that, as it's going to be a piece of cake now for Tramnitz, as we still have a race to do though, and we're looking to overtake Tsunoda and Colapinto. The two of them though, so close together, nearly have a bit of a shunt as we get nearly pincered in. We try and go the long way around on Tsunoda. Not going to work though, and we've actually offset ourselves a bit on the racing line. We've gone wide, and that's going to invite Leclerc in. We've both got DRS, but he's got the overspeed. To the inside he goes. We give him a squeeze ahead. There's fighting going on for Tsunoda and Colapinto as... Oh, what? Aaron's just crashed into the back of us. Safety car is out. We're facing the wall. What just happened? We got rear-ended by the other Williams. I was focusing on Tsunoda ahead, his teammate, having a little scrap with Colapinto, and Aaron has just driven into us. We're, giving Leclerc the squeeze. We come back to the racing light. He's just misjudged it. He has fully just misjudged the brake zone there. He broke way too late for where I was, and he's just rear-ended us, put us round, and the safety car is now out. It's a tremendous little crash there as the Williams does a full 360 spin. We've broken our front wing on the wall, so we're now in for a pit stop under this safety car. I kind of almost low-key wished it was another red flag. I wouldn't have minded a third red flag. You may as well at that point, FI, you've done 2 today. You may as well throw a third one out, because now we're having to trundle around. We've made the pit stop. We're going to have to catch back up, but we've gone onto soft tyres now. I usually would be more annoyed at this situation. We've just recovered from last place already with that pit stop blunder before the second red flag of the day, and we recovered into the points, and now we've been sent right to the back again. But I'm not mad, because none of it matters, because way out ahead, Tim Tramnitz, he's just relaxed. He's probably loving life, knowing he's about to become a world champion. That is what I'm going to take solace in. And also, you know what? We're going to have some fun now, because we're on the soft compound with 4 laps to go. All these guys on worn out hard tyres. We're going to be so quick and rapid on these softs. So it's going to be take 2 on recovering from last place. And we're going to be back with an even bigger vengeance now and even more pace into some of these corners with soft tyres on the car. Slightly worn out from qualifying, but, we're only talking like 5%, so it's fine. And you can see how far back we're coming from on Hajar into this left-hander. Such an unorthodox place to make a move, but with the tyre compound difference, it opens up a world of possibilities of overtakes for us, because we're so much quicker and we've got so much more grip into every corner and even out of it as well, and that's going to help us on the main straight as well, just launch ourselves towards the cars of Maloney, Bortoleto, which, by the way, Bortoleto in the Audi, he's currently running in the points. Audi and BMW yet to score any points in Formula 1. Is this going to be maybe Audi's first points? I may just come to ruin the party though, because we're actually coming through. We're now P11. Oh no. Are we about to ruin Bortoleto's point scoring here? I hope he gets an overtake on one of the cars ahead, because I don't really want to spoil this for him. Surely he overtakes Marty at some point, but we're going for the move, and it's a big punchy one. 1, 2, 3 cars nearly, and it is 3 cars. We just did a 3-car overtake like it was nothing on the inside of turn 1. Such is the advantage we've got, and now looking for the move on Stroll. But I'm looking on the top left, and now on the timing ladder, I really pray for Bortoleto's sake that he can make an overtake on Marty to get back into the points, because otherwise I'm going to feel quite bad that I've just denied Audi their first points in Formula 1. As we close up now to Tsunoda and Colapinto. This was the original fight I was looking to get involved with before the incident with Aaron. We've made swift work of Tsunoda. Now looking at Ocon and Colapinto, the two of them squabbling, and that will give Tramnitz breathing room ahead in P3. He was under pressure slightly from the Ferrari, from Colapinto, but none of it matters. It's the wrong Ferrari still in the race. Albon, he's out of this one, and there's nothing he can do now. Tim Tramnitz in third place, and you know what? We've got the pace. I reckon we overtake Tim, we overtake Lawson, and then slow down and allow Tramnitz to get third place and then get second. I think that would be quite fitting. As what? I've only just... Ocon's in! Ocon's in for a pit stop! Oh, it's an absolute shambles of a race for Ferrari. But hang on a minute. Is there a way we could win the Constructors now? Ocon's in, 0 points for Ferrari. Is there a way we could win the Constructors all of a sudden? We're 3-4. If I can get Tramnitz and I can get Lawson and push him down the order and slow him up, could we get 2-3 here and get the Constructors? I'm not completely sure about the maths, but let's try it. Also, just for the sake of, could we get Tramnitz? I'll let him by. I have no qualms with that. I'll let him by and get second place if we can do that. So we pass Tramnitz, just a very nice, simple overtake in a straight line, no time lost, and we're now going to be on our way to closing up to Lawson on the last lap. Can we make this a historic 2-3 to get the constructors here in Vegas with the chrome livery as well? Oh no! What? No! What has happened? Tim Tramnitz is out! He's hit the wall! Oh my God! What have we just watched? What have we just witnessed? Tim, fella, what happened? What happened? I cannot believe this. It's another twist in this tale. The championship will go on to Qatar because, oh my God, he's just driven into the wall. What's happened there, Tramnitz? Oh, the pressure. Oh, the pressure. Our F3 icon driver, the pressure's got to him clearly, and he's just driven into the wall. He's felt it. He's just been a bit too much for him, and he's decked it into the wall. We can't even get Lawson in the end of it, in the irony of that. So we get third place. It's a great podium for us, but oh my, oh, Bortoletto, he's going to get points. Audi score points in Formula 1. What a day for them. But for the other German counterpart, Tim Tramnitz, oh my God.
He won a sprint before, but now it's time for Grand Prix success. Oscar Piastri takes the win.
To witness such mastery of these conditions, these changeable conditions that we saw today, is very impressive indeed. So a huge congratulations to this driver for taking victory today.
It's a big day in the office for the German brand of Audi. But Tim Tramnitz, oh, fella, you're going to have to dust yourself off and pick yourself up for next race. Because the championship, because of that crash, the championship goes on to Qatar. No one is officially the world champion today, and no team is the official constructors champion. It all carries on to Qatar, and we're now going to be driving as Tramnitz in his potential race to become the world champion. Maybe in a weird way, that's also quite fitting, but I cannot believe that. It was on a silver platter. Ferrari were out, and Tramnitz on the second last lap stuffs it in the wall. You cannot write this stuff. Unbelievable. What the hell? Guys, if you have enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.